Okay, we're talking today about finding and fulfilling your life's work. Is there something that you feel called to do? Do you feel like your life has a purpose, has a meaning? Do you feel like there is something that is calling to you, tapping you on the shoulder and saying you need to step forward? Well, I'm going to share some ideas with you that hopefully will give you the courage to become who you were meant to be, to recognize who you are and stand up and be that person. Join me for today's episode. Okay, so I've heard some really cool stuff lately. One was that I interviewed an amazing woman, Carrie Skurdurla, who shared with me how she does a lot of heart science, and she has found out that there are actually neural pathways in our hearts, that we actually think with our hearts. One of the things that she shared with me that just blew my mind was this idea that the first organ that is formed at conception, day one, is your heart. And she kind of asked this question: does that mean that your calling, your purpose, your mission, that thing that you were drawn to do, that thing that just keeps eating away at you, that says you need to do this, you need to step forward, you need to be who you were meant to be, that all comes from our heart, and that was there on day one? Kind of an interesting idea, right? So anyway, I want to share with you a little bit about where I learned what my calling, what my purpose, what my mission is. And even though things have not worked out exactly right, I want to share with you. Anyway, let me just share with you my story. So here I am, I'm 8 years old. I'm on my parents' green couch. I'm watching TV, and this amazing commercial comes on. And it's about this little kid, and he comes into his dad's home office, and his dad's punching away at the 10 key there. And he leans on his dad and says, "Dad, are we going camping?" His dad says, "Oh, I know I said we were going to, but I forgot, and I've got so much to do. Maybe we'll go another time. Sorry, son." And the kid leans on his dad and says, "That's okay, I understand. But do you mind coming and looking in the camper trailer and seeing what I did?" Yeah, sure. Finally he pulls himself away. Then we see him in the back of the trailer, and his dad's looking around going, "Wow, son, you have done a fantastic job here." And the kid says, "Thanks, Dad." Wham! And slams the door. In the next shot, you see them driving away. He has kidnapped his dad for a fun time alone with him. Well, as an 8-year-old boy, I was so excited. This created this visual picture, this image in my mind of me kidnapping my dad and going fishing and camping and having fun like I wanted to do. My dad was a solopreneur architect. He worked in the basement, and so I ran downstairs into the basement, and I'm looking through the big hole in the door where the doorknob should be if it ever got finished, and I'm looking and I'm peeking at my dad. I'm giggling to myself, so excited, just imagining myself kidnapping my dad to take him on this wonderful trip. And then I saw something that surprised me. It wasn't like TV. See, he was there with his head in his hands, and he looked tired, and he looked worn out, and he looked beat. And I stood up and I looked around. I thought, that's kind of weird. And as I'm looking around, I notice that I'm here in this unfinished basement where there's studded walls, some with drywall, some without, just open studded walls. And there isn't carpet. There's just this cement floor in the basement. And yeah, I can look through this hole because there wasn't a doorknob there. He never finished the basement. Why didn't he finish the basement? Because we never had enough money. And then all of a sudden, I felt this wave of guilt and shame crash over me as I had this thought that said, "Scott, you are so selfish that you would jeopardize your family's safety and security to go camping with your dad." And I don't know where that thought came from, but I remember just feeling icky, feeling horrible about myself. And I went back upstairs, and the TV's still on. And I remember that commercial. And I remember how I felt. And I remember that idea of that kid getting to play with his dad and helping families and helping relationships, and I had the world's second best idea. And it was, what if I can create stories and films and material that will help families just like that kid and help them, and maybe I can earn my way out of guilt and shame if I create great media that can help others. Well, if you fast forward 30 plus years, I'm working in the advertising industry. I'm making films and commercials for great causes, and I'm doing exactly what I set out to do, but I am not happy. I'm not satisfied. And it's because, and it wasn't until later, it wasn't until I got a life coach who pointed this out to me. It was because I had this bad math. See, I thought if I make great films and help other people, then I will earn my value. I will earn my way out of guilt and shame. And see, that's not the way it works. We are already people of value. You already have intrinsic value. You can't change your value. You can't make it go up. You can't make it go down, because you are already priceless. You can improve things, but you can't change your value because you are that important. Well, anyway, it wasn't until I realized this and realized that the things that I had been self-sabotaging on had been based on that bad math. But the interesting thing is kind of in the end, it all worked out, because I felt my calling, my mission, my purpose was to create films and media and things that would help other people. And that's what I chose to do. I wonder if that was seeded right from the get-go, that my heart had these desires to help other people. I wonder if you have the same thing. I wonder if inside your heart, if you could be quiet enough to listen to your heart, that you would find that there are promptings, there are ideas, that you already have your calling, your mission and purpose already inside. It's just a matter of getting quiet enough to find that. Quiet enough to listen, quiet enough to discover who you were meant to be. What are your thoughts? You've had time to think. Now it's time for you to share. In the comments section below, share your thoughts, ideas, and questions, especially any insights that inspired you to take action. Of course, the best place to take action is at scottwilhite.com, because if you join me for a free web class, I will reward you with a purpose planner so you can start each day with confidence, clarity, and conviction. Your identity is your most valuable possession. It's who you are, why you're here, and what you stand for. Choose your beliefs and pick your identity. It is choice, not chance, that determines your reality. See you next time.